see what's going on again. I do not know what's going on. My phone is shutting off and all kinds of fun things. So, happens when you're in the heat, I guess. So in the meantime, we will start again and hopefully have less trouble. But we'll see. Alrighty. Trying to figure all this stuff out. Alrighty, so we're going to keep going and see what we got. It's saying my video has ended, but I have not. Okay. Oh my goodness, okay. 1 second, you guys, I'm sorry. And now I'm sideways also. Hold on. Let's see. And my connection's weak. Alright. Let's just give it a go with what we got, huh? Let's spin this around so it's the right way. Alrighty, so we're going to go with what we got and hope and pray. So, let's see here. Let me get centered. So, alrighty, so as I stopped last time, we were heat setting this circle. So you notice that some of it's already started. So we're just going to finish this real quick. If you don't want to hold it with your fingers, you can take some washi tape or some scotch tape and roll it on the back so it'll stay. But honestly, if you're right over it, not a big deal, it's not going to blow. So let's see here. Alrighty, so that is the first layer. Okay. For the second layer, you're going to grab your Versamark again, unless you are fast enough to get it when it's super, super scorching hot, but I'm really not. So I'm going to layer another layer of Versamark and get this tray, and I am going to pour another layer of copper down. And you're going to do this about 3 or 4 times depending on how thick you want it to look and how many times you stick your finger in the side. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay. So there's my second layer, if anybody's keeping track. So we're going to go again. Now this one should heat a little bit quicker, obviously, because it's still slightly warm from the last time. Much better. Okay. So we're going to grab this and almost done. Got a couple little spots on the edges. Now what you want to make sure is you don't get your fingers in that middle, because it will definitely leave a fingerprint, okay? So in the meantime, you're pouring your powder back from your tray and you're doing, you know, everything you can to keep your area kind of clean. So, alrighty, so as it's still kind of warm, you're going to stamp with your Versamark, and then you are going to sprinkle again. Okay. Okay. And now it's a little bit easier because the paper is getting thicker. Oh, I should have said too, I started with the thick white cardstock. Seems to be a little bit better, doesn't seem to curl as much as the regular white cardstock does. So this would be number 3. And I'm going to do 4 layers, but if you want it to be a deeper image, then you want to do, you know, you can go as deep as you actually want to. I've seen it as deep as about a dozen. Past that, it gets a little too deep for the stamps, but you know, whatever you need to do, right? So, alright, so we're gonna pour the powder back in. Make sure you don't do it over your warm piece because you don't want spots and dots all in it. Okay, so we've got this. We're gonna do a little bit more Versamark. Stick it in the tray. Now this is tedious, but this is what you gotta do for this technique, okay? There's not really a way around it. Alrighty. So see how those edges are much easier to grab now? It's because your metal or your paper is getting thicker. So, alrighty. So this is 4. Now before I heat this, because I want to heat this a good long time to get it really warm so my stamp image stays in there really well. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your stamp ready, okay? And you are going to stamp in to grease, for lack of better terms, your stamp, okay? And we're going to get this moving. And as soon as you're done with this, and you want it to still be warm, because if it's not, obviously it won't stick in. So as soon as you're done, you want to dip that stamp down in there, okay? So we're going to see how this does. And you're going to want to make a couple of samples because the first couple times you're going to push too hard, not enough, and you're not going to be happy with the result. And unfortunately, there's not really a way to redo it. So it really is a little bit of finesse in knowing your stamps and whatnot. The other thing is, you don't want to handle your paper too much before you start embossing, because the more oil you have in your hands that you put on the paper, the less of a smooth image you'll have with your embossing. Okay? Alrighty, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to heat this up really, really well. We're going to turn this off with your greased stamp. You're just going to stick this down in. And you're going to try very hard to not have it slide and not have it do, but you know, that happens sometimes. So that is what that looks like. Let's see. Can you see that? No, because it's pixelating. So what I'm going to do is, this is my Christmas in July project for tonight. My snowflake will be from yesterday. I'm going to stick some ribbons on these and I will post these on Instagram and Facebook. But I just want to let you know, and see what these look like. So I think they're really cool looking. Obviously I didn't press hard enough because this was the first couple times I did this. But some tips. No oily fingers, wash your hands beforehand. Try not to touch the cardstock because you could see where I touched it before. Make sure you have plenty of embossing powder, meaning at least a half of a container. And make sure you do not have a fan running, because your Versamark pad will end up looking like this if you have a fan running. This was the first time. Alright, make sure your Versamark is properly inked, because if there's not enough juice in it, you will not get a decent grease for your stamp. And then it'll stick in, and yes, you can get it off, but it's not pretty. So without anything else, I think I'm going to have to replace my phone or get a different camera. And hopefully we can get all this solved and done by next time. But remember, not next week. I will remind you. Okay? So without anything else, I am going to talk to you later. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you. Again, Johnny Daniels, Stampin' Up. Thanks a lot from the high desert.